Cyber Dopamine here. The Steamdeck OLED, it's pushing a little over 9 months and time freaking flies. I've put so many hours into this device. I know it inside and out, and I also know the competition. So let's just talk about how it's been over these 9 months to see how it's held up. The first thing I want to talk about is this freaking OLED screen. I'll tell you this, it's really hard to go back to a Legion Go or an ROG Ally X after playing on the Steamdeck OLED because of these freaking colors and the true blacks. I mean, take a look at this video. Look at the difference between your traditional IPS display with an OLED. It is night and day, literally. And I'm telling you, even with the Ally X, I've put SteamOS onto it, and it stings a little bit. It really does. I'm being honest here. I was playing on the Steam Deck. I was on like desktop mode like I am right now. And I thought it would shut off by itself. So I set it on the table. It was plugged in. I leave on a trip for 3 days. I come back and it's exactly how I left it, screen on. And this is an OLED, so I freaked out. I'm like, oh crap. I definitely burned the pixels. And I do the OLED test. And sure enough, flawless. Nothing, just clean. No OLED burn. Amazing. And that's pretty cool. So if people are worried about that for long-term things, as far as Steamdeck OLED goes, it's been doing really well. By the way, let me know what I can do to make these videos better. If I make mistakes, tell me. I like to know. And subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. If it's your vibe, it's your vibe. But okay, anyways, I'll tell you this. It's not the highest resolution display out of all the other handhelds. And 70 hertz sometimes isn't enough for like fast-paced games, like FPS games, you know? But the way I play this Steam Deck and when I play on it, I never feel like I need more than what I currently have. Also, oof, this is a huge HDR, high dynamic range. Those sunsets in Red Dead Redemption 2 look so good on this screen. And No Rest for the Wicked is another game that just looks beautiful. And I'm telling you, it really hurts switching back to the other handhelds. The next thing I want to talk about is the battery. So batteries are getting pretty good now, right? We're seeing the ROG Ally X with their 2 hours, 40 minutes, 3-hour battery life. This is pretty close to the Ally X. I would say it's not a big real-world difference at all. And we're at that threshold where anything past 2 hours for a mobile gaming handheld is pretty good. For me, at least, everywhere I take it, I don't need more than 2 hours. And if I'm going to be somewhere long-term where I'm going to play for more than that, I'd bring a charger. But you can take this to work and between breaks, play with no problems. I'm getting like 2 hours and 30 minutes on Cyberpunk right now. So I will say when I first unboxed this Steam Deck, the day it dropped, I was actually getting like 2 hours and 50 minutes of game time. Now I'm on the same game, I'm getting 2 hours and 30 minutes. So there's battery degradation, but it's not much. And also take that with a grain of salt because I'm not doing deep testing. This is based off like a little timer thing that I have. Circumstances are always different. The next thing I want to talk about is performance. I am probably going to put what I'm about to say in the title. If I did, sweet. The Steamdeck OLED is like a Honda Civic. And what I mean by that is a Honda Civic is known for being one of the most reliable cars on the market. It's not the fastest car. It's not the prettiest, most sexiest sports car. But it does everything it's supposed to do so well. And this performance isn't freaking screaming like a Legion Go or ROG Ally X. But at the end of the day, you can play the same game and have a very good experience on this device. And it's really cool to say that. Developers are really focusing on making sure that their games play well on a Steam Deck. And Valve is focusing on making sure that those games play well on the Steam Deck. So you're seeing a lot of games get optimized really well. And it's just really cool to see that. Yeah, the next thing is reliability. This is a big deal. This goes back to what I was saying about this handheld being a Honda Civic. You know, when you put the keys into the ignition and turn, the car is going to turn on. And you know that if you're in California and you want to drive up to Oregon for a weekend, you can totally do that. There's not much maintenance required to do so. This thing plays the games that you want to play, and all you do is press A twice to play that game, and that has to do with SteamOS. There are not many glitches or problems that I run into on this Steam Deck. It's by far been the most consistent gamer out of all the other handhelds. If you see the Lead and Go video I just did last, I mean, I'm telling you, countless hours of my life have been dedicated to fixing little issues that happen on some of these Windows handhelds. This is just turn it on, press play, let's go. And the biggest thing about this device that I love so much, and you can now start to replicate it on these Windows handhelds, is the sleep function. Guys, what makes this device so cool is the fact that I can take this with me, and then if I'm waiting for 10 minutes, it's still worth turning this on to play for 10 minutes. Because all I have to do is click the button, it takes half a second to boot into the game, and I have 9 minutes and 50 seconds to play. If I did this, if I had a 10-minute time slot to play games on a Legion Go or Rog Ally, I'd have about 8 or 7 or 5 minutes to play the game I want to play. That's just a real world use case. And it's a big deal because, again, this is a handheld. I'll also mention in regards to reliability, SteamOS is going to be ported over to the Rog Ally X. That's my next video, so I'll talk more about that later. But the next thing is durability. How has this device held up? I'll be honest here, I'm not the safest with my handhelds. I treat them like I do a phone. I throw it in my pocket or I throw it in my bag. You know, I'll toss it over across the room onto the couch. I'm not too safe with these things. I can't help it. And this thing is held up perfectly. I have no problems. The big one I was worried about was burn-in from that 3-day trip I went on. No burn-in. This thing is held up really, really well, and I cannot complain about durability. The next thing I want to talk about is audio. So the speakers have been really, really good, and I think they might be the best speakers out of all the handhelds that I've been playing on lately. They hit. You know what's up in the game that you're playing, low, mids, and highs. There's good directional audio as well. I have nothing bad to say about that as well. But I think a big question is, where does this handheld stand? What's the deal? Like, is it too late to get it? Is it, will there be a refresh? What's going on there? The answer is this. I think you can't go wrong with this Steam Deck OLED, but see my next video because that's going to talk about SteamOS, Valve putting it on other handhelds, and that really messes with the market of things. So yeah, we'll do that next video.